Let me tell you something. Everybody wants to be great, but nobody wants to be consistent. Everybody wants to break through the platform, the applause, but the truth is consistency is the price. You're not going to just wake up one day and have it all figured out. You're not going to stumble into success. You're not going to drift into purpose. Purpose requires pursuit. Power requires persistence. You don't rise to the level of your dreams, you fall to the level of your routines. See, most people think talent is enough. They think being gifted is the golden ticket. Let me tell you the truth, gifted without grind is wasted potential. I've seen too many talented people never walk into their calling because they couldn't force themselves to keep showing up. They were waiting for perfect conditions. They were waiting to feel like it. They were waiting for some lightning bolt of motivation to strike. But that's not how greatness works. Greatness is not a moment. It's not a mood. It's not a motivational quote. It's repetition. It's routine. It's raw daily discipline. Consistency is the master key. You want to unlock the next level of your life. Force yourself to be consistent when it's hard, when it's dry, when it's boring, when nobody's clapping. That's where the real work happens. That's where character is built. That's where trust is forged. You can't fake consistency. You can't pretend your way into mastery. You either show up or you don't. And the ones who show up day after day, moment after moment, those are the ones who earn the right to lead. Let me make it plain. You're not inconsistent because you're weak. You're inconsistent because you haven't decided who you are yet. You haven't fully committed. You've got 1 foot in your purpose and 1 foot in your comfort zone. 1 foot in the dream and 1 foot in your doubts. And as long as you live in that in-between space, you'll keep starting over. You'll keep getting hyped and crashing, hyped and crashing. You weren't built to live like that. You were built to be steady. You were built to endure. You were built to outlast. But here's the deal, you've got to force it at first. Don't wait for it to feel good. Don't wait for it to make sense. Don't wait until you're confident. Don't wait until you're ready. Force it. Because the version of you that's disciplined, focused, locked in, that version is trying to break through. But you've got to give it a chance to rise. And it only rises when you keep showing up. You ever seen a seed grow? You put it in the soil, and then what? You water it, nothing happens. You come back the next day, still nothing. You keep watering, you keep showing up, still nothing. But what you don't see is that something is happening underground. Roots are forming. Foundation is being built. And if you stop watering it just because you didn't see results, guess what? You killed the thing before it even had a chance to grow. That's what some of us are doing with our gifts, with our businesses, with our families, with a purpose. We start watering. But the moment we don't see fruit, we stop. We quit. We walk away. You want the fruit. Stay consistent. Keep watering. Keep showing up. Even when it looks like nothing's working. Even when no one's applauding. Even when the doors aren't opening yet. Because there is a law at work, the law of sowing and reaping. And it never fails. But you have to stay long enough in the process to see the harvest. I've learned something powerful. God doesn't reward effort alone. He rewards faithfulness. The people who rise to the top aren't always the smartest or the most talented or the most charismatic. It's the people who are faithful. The ones who stay committed to the assignment. The ones who do what they said they would do. Long after the move they set it in is gone. Let's be real. Some of why all have the vision, you've got the word, you've got the potential, but you're out here negotiating with inconsistency. You're talking yourself out of showing up. You're convincing yourself it doesn't matter, but it does matter. Every single rep, every single prayer, every early morning, every late night, it all matters. And the compound effect is real. What you do daily becomes who you are permanently. You say you want to lead, then consistency has to be non-negotiable. Because if you can't lead yourself with discipline, you can't lead others with integrity. If you can't follow through on your own commitment, how can people trust you with theirs? This isn't about perfection. This is about posture. This is about making a decision that says, I will be who I said I'd be, even when it's uncomfortable. You won't always feel like it. That's normal. But the difference between average and extraordinary isn't talent, it's consistency. The great ones show up regardless of how they feel. They've trained their minds to obey their mission. They've submitted their emotions to their assignment. That's the standard. That's what separates those who want it from those who walk in it. So yeah, force yourself to be consistent. Force yourself when you're tired. Force yourself when it's inconvenient. Force yourself when no one's watching. Because if you can keep showing up in silence, you will eventually speak in influence. If you can be faithful with little, you'll be trusted with much. And I need you to catch this: your future is built by the patterns you choose today. You can't be casual with consistency and expect excellence to show up. It doesn't work that way. So whatever it is, your dream, your calling, your family, your purpose, show up for it. Give it the respect it deserves. Stop treating your assignment like an option. It's not an option. It's your calling. Because when it's all said and done, your legacy won't be determined by what you started. It will be defined by what you finished out. Let's cut through the noise. You're not going to feel motivated every day. That's the truth. There are going to be days where the fire you had yesterday is gone today. Days when you wake up and you don't feel like grinding, don't feel like pushing, don't feel like showing up. But that's when it matters the most. That's when the decision is made. Do you really want it? Or were you just excited? Because if your grind is based on emotion, you're already finished. Emotion is temporary. Discipline is eternal. You've got to understand the difference. Emotion is like the weather comes and goes, unpredictable, unreliable. But discipline is the anchor. Discipline doesn't care if it's sunny or raining. Discipline doesn't care if you're excited or exhausted. Discipline says we do what we said we would do regardless. And that's what's missing for a lot of people. They keep waiting to feel like it. They keep waiting for some magical wave of energy to push them forward. But what happens when the feeling doesn't come? What happens when motivation disappears? That's when discipline has to kick in. I need you to hear me. If you only move when you feel like it, you'll never move far. You'll start and stop. Start and stop. You'll keep making promises to yourself that you never keep. And after a while, you don't even believe your own words anymore. You say, I'm going to wake up early, and then you don't. I'm going to eat clean, and then you don't. I'm going to build this thing, and then you quit halfway. Not because you're weak, but because you haven't trained yourself to push through when the emotion is gone. That's where the breakthrough is. Not in the hype, not in the inspiration. It's in the quiet moments where no one's watching and you choose to follow through anyway. You think champions wake up every day hyped to work? You think people building something eternal always in the mood? No. They've just made a decision that their feelings don't run their life, their mission does. Their why is louder than their excuses. Their purpose is stronger than their pain. And because of that, they get up, they show up, they lock in, and they keep moving forward. It's not about what you feel. It's about what you've decided. See, discipline is a decision. It's not some magical trait that a few lucky people are born with. It's a mindset. It's a lifestyle. It's waking up and choosing to honor your commitment even when it hurts, even when it's not glamorous, even when no one's clapping. That's what separates the ones who talk from the ones who walk. That's what creates distance between people who kind of want it and people who refuse to live without it. Stop waiting to feel like it. That version of you who waits for the stars to align, that version is lying to you. It's holding you back. You weren't built for comfort. You were built for calling. And calling requires cost. You want to do something meaningful. You want to make impact. Then stop letting your emotions decide your actions. Emotions make a terrible leader. They'll lead you in circles. But if you let your mission lead, if you let your values, your vision, your purpose lead, you'll move even when your heart isn't in it. There will be days you're tired, days when you're emotionally drained, days when it seems like nothing's working. That's normal. But those days are sacred. Those are the days where legacy is born. Because if you can push through on those days, if you can train yourself to move in the absence of emotion, you'll be unstoppable. You'll be dangerous because now you're not controlled by the moment, you're led by something deeper, something unshakable. And I get it. It's hard. Nobody's saying it's easy. But that's the point. The reason it's hard is because it matters. The reason it hurts is because it's shaping you. Discipline is doing the work that doesn't get applause. It's showing up to the gym when you'd rather stay in bed. It's making the call when your pride says don't bother. It's writing the content, creating the video, building the business even when the numbers don't look good yet. Even when no one sees what you're doing, because you know one day they will. One day the fruit will show. One day your consistency will be undeniable. But not if you keep stopping every time it gets uncomfortable. Not if you keep ghosting your own growth every time the mood changes. You've got to make discipline your default. You've got to rewire your mind to act even when it's inconvenient. Because the greatest version of you is not built in convenience. It's built in resistance. It's built in fatigue. It's built when your body says no, but your spirit says we go anyway. Every time you move without emotion, you strengthen your future. Every time you push through without the hype, you build mental muscle. And that mental muscle will carry you when motivation can't. That's why we train discipline, because life will not always be ideal. Your emotions will betray you. But your discipline, that's what keeps you in the game. That's what carries you from I started to I finished. That's what makes people remember your name when you're gone. So what are you really committed to? Because your discipline will expose it. You can't fake consistency. You can't pretend to be locked in. Sooner or later, the truth shows up. And the question is, did you force yourself to push through when it didn't feel good? Did you force yourself to stay the course when your heart wasn't in it? Because if you did, that's how you win. That's how you break through. That's how you build something that lasts. And listen, I'm not saying don't feel. I'm saying don't be ruled by feelings like just come up, but don't let them dictate. Let them rise and fall. But keep your feet on the path. Because discipline doesn't deny emotion. It just refuses to be enslaved by it. So when the fire fades, when the energy dies, when the mood is missing, force yourself anyway. Because what you do in those moments, that's what defines you. That's where real growth lies. That's where real transformation happens. Move without emotion. Show up without a cheer squad. Keep walking when the path gets dark. Because that's how legends are made. You've got to understand something. You're not doing this just for today. You're not grinding just for a moment. You're not pushing just for right now. You are planting seeds that your future self is going to harvest. I need you to see beyond the pain. See beyond the inconvenience. See beyond the silence. Because on the other side of your discipline is a version of you that's stronger, sharper, more focused, and more powerful than you've ever been. But you're not going to meet that version if you keep quitting in the middle. Your future self is begging you to stay in motion, begging you to keep going. You don't even realize it, but every choice you make today is a brick you're laying on the path to that future. The grind you put in today, that's the foundation your legacy is going to stand on. That early morning when you didn't feel like it, that's the rep that built the discipline. That content you posted when nobody was watching, that's the post that created momentum. That prayer you whispered in private, that's the one that unlocked doors in silence. Nothing you're doing is wasted as long as you keep moving. See, what gets most people is they're so locked into what they feel now, they can't see what they're building next. They want results right now. They want applause right now. They want fruit the moment they plant the seed. And when they don't get it, they think it's not working. But that's not how this works. Growth doesn't scream. Growth whispers. Growth happens in the silence. You won't always see the reward in real time. But trust me, your future self is watching, and every time you choose discipline over comfort, you are stepping closer to that version of yourself who doesn't just dream about the life they live it. You're not tired of the process. You're tired of not seeing the reward. But the reward isn't denied. It's just delayed. That's where most people fold. They confuse silence with failure. They confuse quiet with rejection. But sometimes the quiet is the test. The silence is the season where you're being stretched, where your roots are growing deeper so your platform can rise higher. It's not punishment. It's preparation. You've got to remind yourself the best version of me is watching. The future version of me is counting on what I do today. So no, I can't sleep in. I can't skip out. I can't ghost my own goals just because the mood is missing. I've got work to do. I've got a standard to uphold. I've got a vision to fulfill. And that vision doesn't come to life unless I keep showing up even when I don't feel like it. Some of why all are so caught up in the now that you've forgotten where you're headed. You've forgotten who you're becoming. Let me remind you, you're building something generational. You're creating something that's bigger than you. Every time you force yourself to stay consistent, to push through, to show up, you are making a down payment on a feature that's going to blow your mind. But if you keep stopping, if you keep retreating, if you keep waiting to feel ready, you're going to delay what's already yours. You're going to sabotage what you've been praying for. Listen to me, the vessel of you that's disciplined, driven, focused, that version is already inside you. But it only comes out when you commit. When you force yourself to keep going, even when you're unsure, even when it's uncomfortable, even when the progress is slow. And yeah, the progress will feel slow sometimes. That's real. There are seasons where it feels like you're putting in everything and seeing nothing. But that's the test. Can you stay in motion without a trophy? Can you keep going without applause? Can you stay faithful when it looks like it's not working? You've got to move like your future depends on it because it does. You've got to grind like your name is on the line because it is. Everything you want is waiting on the other side of consistency. But you don't get there with emotion, you get there with execution. You get there by deciding, I don't care what it feels like, I'm showing up anyway. You get there by remembering this isn't about how I feel today. This is about who I'm becoming tomorrow. And let me keep it real. Your future self isn't impressed by your intentions. They're not proud of your potential. They're grateful for your follow through. That version of you that's walking in abundance, that version that's making impact, that version that's healed, whole, and leading. They only exist because you chose not to quit in this season. They exist because you kept moving when it hurt. You stayed faithful when it was dry. You trusted the process when it didn't make sense. This is why motion matters. It's not about speed, it's about direction. You don't have to have it all figured out today. You don't have to crush it every single second. But you do have to keep going. Because the minute you stop, the momentum dies. The second you quit, the version of you that was just around the corner gets delayed. You've come too far to stop now. You put in too much to back out now. So no, you don't need more motivation. You don't need a sign. You don't need a breakthrough to prove it's working. You need to move. You need to put one foot in front of the other. You need to stay in the fight because your future self is watching. And they're not hoping you feel good. They're hoping you keep going. The most powerful thing you can do right now is stay in motion. Don't freeze. Don't fold. Don't talk yourself out of progress because motion creates momentum. And momentum creates miracles. Keep moving. Let me tell you something you can't grow if you keep running from pressure. You want to be great, but every time life squeezes a little, you back up. Every time the pressure rises, you start questioning the assignment. Every time it gets tight, you start looking for an escape hatch. But pressure isn't your enemy. Pressure is the proof that you're close. Pressure is what reveals the parts of you that still need development. Pressure is what forces you to rise. You say you want to be consistent, but consistency can't be proven in comfort. Consistency is proven when everything in you wants to quit and you keep going. When everything around you says stop, but you say not today. Pressure is the environment where champions are molded. You think diamonds are made in a spa? You think greatness is built on soft pillows and safe plans? No. Diamonds are made under heat. Gold is refined in fire. And the version of you that's going to break limits, walk in purpose, and live out destiny, that version can only be revealed through pressure. Stop trying to avoid the weight. Stop praying for an easy path. Start embracing the resistance. Start welcoming the discomfort. Because that pressure you feel, it's not punishment, it's preparation. That struggle you're in, it's not a sign to give up. It's a signal to lean in. Growth doesn't come when everything is going your way. Growth comes when nothing is going right, but you keep moving anyway. You keep showing up. You keep building. You keep speaking life over your vision even when the odds look bad. I need you to stop treating pressure like it's a curse. It's a gift. It's showing you that you're stretching. It's showing you that you're not playing small anymore. It's evidence that you're stepping into new territory. And with new territory comes resistance, comes doubt, comes fear. But don't let that fear lie to you. Fear is just confirmation that you're on the edge of something bigger than you. If you weren't doing something bold, you wouldn't be feeling that tension. But here's what most people do. They get to the pressure point and they retreat. They talk themselves out of purpose. They start making excuses. Maybe it's not the right time. Maybe this wasn't meant for me. Maybe I'm just not built for this. No, you are built for this. You're just not used to the weight yet. And that's okay. You're learning how to carry it. You're training your soul to stay grounded when things shake. And that's what pressure does. It destroys you. It develops you. You're not weak because you feel pressure. You're strong because you're still here. You're still in it. You're still trying. You're still showing up. And that's what consistency is learning how to walk under pressure. Learning how to think clearly when the noise gets loud. Learning how to stay rooted when the storm hits hard. That's how leaders are born. That's how world changers are made. You keep asking for next level. Next level comes with next level pressure. You want the platform, but can you handle the weight that comes with it? You want the blessing, but can you carry the responsibility it demands? See, everybody wants to rise, but very few are willing to be tested. You don't get to skip the testing phase. You don't get to bypass the grind, because if you can't handle pressure now, how are you going to handle success later? You've got to develop the kind of consistency that doesn't shake when life throws punches. The kind of commitment that doesn't crumble when plans fall apart. The kind of discipline that still executes even when emotion is missing and motivation is nowhere to be found. That's what pressure is building in you. It's building resilience. It's building focus. It's teaching you to be the kind of person who doesn't just survive storms, but learns how to lead through them. And hear me, it's not going to feel good. Pressure never does. It's going to feel like too much at times. But you've got to train your mind to say this is part of the process. You got to remind yourself this pressure is proof that I'm getting closer. And even when it feels like everything's caving in, you hold your ground. Because pressure may hit hard, but it never lasts forever. And the version of you that comes out of it, that version is built to last. Let's get real. If you can't be consistent under pressure, you'll never be consistent at the next level. Because pressure only increases with elevation. More influence, more eyes, more expectations. It all comes with more weight. So now is the time to train. Now is the time to sharpen. Now is the time to become the person who can carry what they've been praying for. You can't fake consistency under pressure. You either show up or you don't. You either rise or you fold. I'm telling you this because I've been there. I felt the pressure. I wanted to walk away. I questioned if I had what it took. But every time I remember what was on the line, I remember that my future self was counting on me not to break. That the people I'm called to serve need me to stay the course. And so do you. There's too much on the line for you to break now. Too much purpose in you for you to fold now. Too many people assigned to your gift for you to disappear now. Pressure is not a problem, it's part of the process. And if you can learn to stay consistent in pressure, there will be nothing you can't handle. You'll become unshakable. You'll become immovable. You'll become the kind of person that can walk into any room, face any challenge, handle any weight, and not flinch. Because you've already been forged in the fire. You've already been through the grind. You've already proven to yourself that no matter what life throws at you, you don't quit. So don't run from the pressure. Walk through it. Let it shape you. Let it stretch you. Let it reveal the strongest parts of you. Because once you learn how to stay consistent under pressure, you become unstoppable. You keep asking how to stay consistent, how to keep going. When it gets hard, you've got to make it personal. That's the difference. That's the shift. This can't be about trends, likes, followers, or applause. This can't be about what everybody else is doing. If it's not personal to you, you will quit when it gets hard. You will fold when the results don't show up quick enough. You will tap out the moment it gets uncomfortable. But when it's personal, you don't stop. You've got to tie your consistency to something deeper than emotion. You've got to link it to purpose. You've got to remind yourself every single day why you started in the first place. What do you stand for? Who are you doing this for? What future are you fighting for? Because if you're not anchored in that, life will shake you and you'll drift. But when it's personal, when your goals are connected to your story, your pain, your dreams, your people, you'll show up different. You'll grind different. You'll focus different. You'll endure more, not because it's easier, but because now it means something. You think I get up every day because I feel like it. You think I stay on my grind because the conditions are perfect? No, I do it because I made a vow. I made a promise to myself, to my family, to my future. I told myself I will never go back. I told myself I will not waste my gift. I told myself I will be the one in my bloodline that changes everything. That's why I keep going. That's why I stay locked in, because it's personal. It's not optional. It's not casual. It's covenant. And that's what some of you need to build a covenant with yourself. Not a casual commitment, not a New Year's resolution, not a maybe someday mindset. You need to look in the mirror and make a decision, a real one, that from this moment forward, you're not going to keep quitting on your potential. You're not going to keep playing small because it's hard. You're not going to keep showing up halfway. You're going all in because this matters, because you matter. You've got to remember who you used to be. You've got to remember those nights you cried, those times you were overlooked, those moments you felt like giving up but didn't. That's where your fuel is. Don't let time make you soft. Don't let comfort make you forget. Don't let success make you settle. Go back and tap into that version of you that had to fight to believe again. That version that was hungry, that had fire, that was determined to turn pain into power. That version knew it wasn't about convenience, it was about calling. Some of y'all keep asking for motivation when what you really need is memory. Go back. Remember what this costs. Remember who didn't believe in you. Remember how far you've come. Remember why you said yes in the first place, and then move like it, talk like it, grind like it, be consistent like it, because the moment you disconnect from your why, you become vulnerable to excuses. You become open to shortcuts. But when your why is clear, your how becomes relentless. And look, I get it. Life gets real. Distractions come. Pressure hits. You get tired. You get discouraged. That's human. But that's why this can't just be about discipline. It's got to be about identity. You got to see this as who you are. Not something you do when it's convenient. Not something you post about on good days. This is who you are. You are consistent. You are disciplined. You are focused. And because that's who you are, your actions line up even when the feelings don't. You want to be consistent. Then stop waiting for inspiration and stop living from conviction. Stop needing everything around you to be perfect before you act. Start owning your process like your life depends on it, because it does. You've got dreams that can shift generations, but they're waiting on you to stop treating this like a hobby and start moving like it's your assignment. It's personal now. It's not about proving them wrong anymore. It's about proving yourself right. This journey you're on is too important to take lightly. There are people connected to your consistency. People who will believe again because you didn't quit. People who will find purpose because you found yours. You don't even know the full weight of your impact yet. That's why the enemy tries to distract you. That's why life tries to throw you off course. Because you're not just doing this for you. Your consistency is legacy work. It's generational. It's divine. So when you feel like stopping, remind yourself, this is bigger than me. You got to get to the place where quitting isn't even on the table anymore. Where the only option is forward. Where the only direction is up. And you get there by locking into your reason, by going deep enough that no storm, no loss, no delay can pull you off course. Because now it's not just about goals. It's about purpose. It's about calling. It's about becoming the person you were designed to be and refusing to settle for anything less. You've got to fight for that. You've got to protect that. Because the world doesn't need more people who started something. The world means people who finish, who stay the course, who show up when no one's clapping, who grind when no one's watching, who stay loyal to their purpose when everything else is falling apart. That's the kind of consistency that changes everything. That's what separates the average from the unstoppable. And if you can get that locked in, if you can make your reason personal, there will be no force strong enough to make you quit. You'll be consistent. Not because it's easy, but because it's yours. Not because you always feel like it, but because this is the path you chose. And every day you show up, you get one step closer to becoming who you were always meant to be. So the next time you feel like stopping, just whisper to yourself, this is personal now. You want to be consistent. Then stop relying on motivation and build habits. Because let me tell you something, motivation is not going to carry you to your destiny. Motivation is not going to be there every morning when that alarm clock goes off. Motivation won't show up on the days you feel broken, tired, discouraged, and drained. But if you've got the right habits, you'll move anyway, you'll push anyway, you'll execute even when the fire's gone. That's where most people mess up. They start strong because they're inspired. They saw a video, read a quote, had a good conversation, and suddenly they're ready to change the world. But their life punches them in the face and the motivation fades. And guess what? They stop. They fall off. They go right back to the same patterns, the same excuses, the same average behavior, not because they're not capable, but because they never built the discipline to keep going when the inspiration dried up. You've got to stop chasing hype and start building systems. You've got to stop waiting to feel it and start doing it until it becomes who you are. You don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of happy habits. So if you're not winning right now, it's not because you lack potential. It's because you haven't trained your habits to match your purpose. And if your habits don't match your purpose, you're going to stay stuck in that cycle of inconsistency. It's easy to show up when you're excited. But greatness doesn't live in excitement, it lives in execution. It lives in repetition. It lives in the boring stuff, the small stuff, the daily stuff that nobody claps for but makes all the difference. That workout when you didn't feel like going. That early morning when you'd rather sleep. That journal entry when your thoughts were chaotic. That choice to say no one comfort call. That's the real grind. That's the work that builds consistency from the inside out. I'm not asking you to be perfect. I'm asking you to be planted. To be rooted. To show up whether it's raining or shining. To do what you said you'd do long after the mood you said it in is gone. That's discipline. That's integrity. That's consistency. It's not glamorous. It's not flashy, but it's real. And real wins. Real sustains. Real builds. That's what you want, real habits that hold you up when everything else is falling apart. Stop looking at successful people and thinking they're built different. They're not. They've just mastered what most people avoid: structure. They've locked into a rhythm, a routine, a mindset that supports their mission. They don't leave it to chance. They don't hope they'll get it done. They plan for it. They prepare for it. They schedule it. because they understand that destiny isn't a moment, it's a pattern. And the pattern is formed in your habits. If your vision is big, your habits have to be strong enough to carry it. You can't have championship dreams and junior varsity discipline. You can't talk legacy and live sloppy. You can't pray for elevation and then operate like you've got time to waste. You've got to be deliberate. You've got to create systems in your life that protect your purpose. Wake up at the same time. Eat like your energy matters. Move your body like you care about longevity. Speak to yourself like your words shape your future, because they do. Listen, your habits are either building your future or destroying it. There's no neutral. Every choice is a vote for the person you're becoming. So what are you voting for every day? When you hit snooze, you're voting for comfort. When you skip your goals, you're voting for delay. But when you rise up, when you show up, when you stay locked in even when no one's watching, that's when you start to win for real. You keep waiting for the right feeling, but let me tell you, feelings are liars. They'll tell you you're not ready. They'll tell you it doesn't matter. They'll tell you it's okay, it's okay, bro. But your habits don't lie. They reflect who you really are. So if you want to change your life, you don't need more motivation. You need better habits. You need to train your mind, your body, your spirit to move with purpose on good days, bad days, and everything in between. Because consistency isn't about how hard you go, it's about how long you last. Anybody can sprint for a week, but can you show up for a year, for 5 years, for a lifetime? That's what separates the dreamers from the doers. That's what separates the hype from the legacy. You've got to play the long game. You've got to ask yourself, what do I want to be true about me 5 years from now? And then reverse engineer the habits that will get you there. And yeah, it's going to feel mechanical at first. It's going to feel like a grind. But that's the point. That's how habits work. You keep doing it until it becomes second nature. Until your environment doesn't dictate your execution, your identity does. You start moving, not because it feels good, but because you trained yourself to do it no matter what. And eventually, that becomes your advantage. That becomes your strength. Because while everyone else is riding the roller coaster of feelings, you're walking the solid ground of habits. This is what it means to be unstoppable. This is what it means to live with consistency. Not because life is easy, but because your foundation is strong. Because your habits don't just support your goals, they protect your calling. They reinforce your standards. They remind you of who you are and where you're going. So no, you don't need another motivational video. You don't need a hype song. You need structure. You need discipline. You need a routine so strong that quitting doesn't even make sense anymore. And when you build that, when you live that, you won't just be consistent, you'll be untouchable. Because when your habits are right, you don't have to chase greatness, it starts chasing you.